Welcome to the Save Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Derek.
I don't want to talk over you, so it's gonna be kind of weird. I'm
Uh,
Dominic.
we are currently on episode 121, and we are happy to be joined by Daniella with AIEA Golf. Their mission is to empower the modern era of women golfers by inspiring confidence, both on and off the course. Make sure to give them a follow on Instagram. Their handle is at AIEA Golf. Daniella, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So
Absolutely, we're super
before we
excited.
get too deep, I have a
Yeah.
couple staff that are big fans of Aya. They don't
Yes,
play golf. They don't like when I talk about golf, but I showed them your like apparel and they're like, "Ooh, Dom, get some." I'm like, "No, it's not for me. Like, I can't wear it." And then they're like, "No, for us." And I was like, "Okay. Okay."
I love
See?
that. I love that because, one of the things with my apparel is I want it to be non-golfy golf wear. So I want all the non-golfers to look at it and be like, yes, I would wear this randomly on the streets or playing pickleball or doing tennis or whatever. So I love to hear that. I am so excited. And you better get them some Aya gear, obviously.
Well, I mean, I don't want to pay for it because then they're gonna go, "Thanks, Dom," and it's be weird.
Buying their clothes for them. A
Yeah,
little
like
shopping spree.
yeah, because they have boyfriends and they're in college. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So we obviously want to talk about your company that just launched. And we're really excited for you. But wondering if you can give our listeners a little bit of the backstory of what you were doing before launching AIEA Golf.
Yeah, sure. So I just launched Aya in January of this year of 2024, but I've been building it out for 2 years now, full time. Before that, I actually had a 10-year career in the auction world. So right after college, I knew I wanted to get into the auction side of the business, of the art world rather. And I dove in headfirst and I started when I was living in Chicago. And I was considered a generalist. So that means you could put an African sword, a porcelain egg, a piece of silver, and a piece of jewelry in front of me, and I could value all of them. And so it was a really cool industry to be in. I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those things where you just have to be a part of the industry to learn. Like there's no real schooling for the back end when it comes to cataloging and things like that. So I continued that career. I moved to New York City in 2016, and I continued that career there where I was working right in Midtown. And I worked at one of the larger auction houses and I became more specialized in the field and actually in vintage watches. So I sold vintage timepieces for the last 5 years of my auction career, if you will. And I loved it. I loved what I was doing. The auction world is super weird, and there's a lot of things going in and out of auction houses, and it was just super fast and a different side of the art world that most people don't see. But yeah, so I did that for 10 years and then quit that job in December 2021 and have been doing this full time ever since.
Do you
So
think you'd be really good at Prices Right?
Probably. It's like part of my blood. It's part of my blood now. I can wake up
Yeah.
and be like, this pillow is worth $13 or whatever.
Yeah.
well, this is
Yeah.
actually like kind of cool because like I have art right here. I showed you guys earlier, but uh, this is from Santos. Santos listens to the pod, and I want to give him a special thank you and shout out. What would you say this is worth?
Those two
I
look
mean, I,
good.
I mean, to me,
Well,
it's priceless. You know,
yeah, there
like
you go. That is priceless. That's a priceless piece of artwork, two pieces. I love that it's like a graffiti art. In my,
yeah.
I love that. I am a big fan of graffiti art. So bravo to the artiste. Love
So
that.
his
That's
name
awesome.
is Santos Perez on Instagram. He's at Doodles and Divots.
Oh, cool.
Quick plug. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
formerly, formerly Golf Punk. So
I
his
should get one
stuff.
of those for me. I love that
You
Hey,
actually.
should.
I
You
I
Yeah.
mean
should.
I know the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Connect.
I know the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, his name's Santos. Um, I love his work personally, and I always try to myself with art. So like I got Marilyn. I can never
Yeah.
point. And
Hmm.
then I've got like
You got
this
it.
painting you can flip both ways, and it's a woman. And then that one's not like appropriate. And the purple one, it's I'm not gonna say it. Um, but
Have
I
you thought
enjoy
about
it,
getting
and it's
into the
fun.
weather industry, Dom Dom? You're like actually you got the pointing down for the green screen.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna wear green though, and be like, "Where's my body?"
Exactly. Anchorman style.
Um,
I love
Yeah,
it.
I'll be like, "Where are my legs?" Is that
Daniela,
when he
so you were
sticks his
recently
finger? Is that when he sticks his finger through his zipper?
I think that's the second one.
Ah,
Yeah. Still a classic though.
oh,
So Daniel, you also understand this is kind of said we're the golf and things podcast, so we kind of get off subject sometimes, but that's the
Love
beauty
it.
of our podcast. So, um, but so you were recently on the Funds and Founders podcast, which was awesome. But there was a question that he asked you about what was a key memory that still stands to date, and you had mentioned a Rolex that Jack
Yes.
Nicklaus owned. Can you share that story with us?
Yes, so that was one of the highlights of my whole auction career. That was back in 2019. And on my team at the time, on the watches team, I was one of the only people that knew anything about golf. So I've been golfing for over 20 years now. I used to play competitively when I was younger and just socially as an adult, but I continued to play at sim golf centers when I was living in the city and things like that, just to keep up the game. I was in a bunch of leagues and everything. So when we found that we were going to sell this piece, the team was like, "We don't know anything about golf. Let's find someone that knows something about golf." And I was like, "Hey, I've been playing golf for a long time. This would be an absolute honor. I mean, Jack Nicklaus, hello. I would love to be a part of this in any capacity, even if I'm writing pamphlets out. I don't care what I do." But I ended up traveling with the watch quite a bit and showcasing it for about 6 months before the actual sale happened. So in the auction process, especially when you have high value pieces, and double, especially when it's a celebrity owned piece, you have to do quite a bit of marketing, and there's a lot that goes behind it in order to make sure the piece garners what it should. And to
Sure.
make sure you're getting the attention that it needs. So with that, I was able to go to the US Open at Pebble Beach, and I was traveling to Ohio, and I was in LA with the watch, and overseas in Geneva and London as well. And it was just one of those years that I was like, wow, this is one of the greatest things I've ever done. I get to meet Jack and Barbara and their team, and they're wonderful, wonderful people. And yeah, the
Wow.
whole experience of the sale was incredible. And it was even better that I play golf so I could speak to it and I could speak to
Sure.
people that would potentially be bidding. Yes, so it was an amazing experience.
That's really cool. Was it like an not to go like too far in detail, but it's golf related. So, but was it like a individual investor? Or was it like kind of like a group type of thing that ended up purchasing
It
the
was an
watch?
individual. It was an
It was
individual.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wild. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
you go from like a watch expert to now owning your own apparel company. Did you always have like a vision of creating your own company, and why did you choose the golf space?
Yeah, so I've been a little bit of an entrepreneur for a while. I had a t-shirt business back when I was in college, towards the end of my college years. And how that started was I used to dislike how college t-shirts would fit on my body. So I would just cut off the neck, cut off the bottom, and create like an off-the-shoulder crop top. And people would ask me where I got the shirt, and I was like, I cut this thing in my dorm room 10 minutes ago. So that started this.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was just kind of like came from a need. And so I ended up starting to buy men's vintage t-shirts from this guy in California, and like doing the same thing and just making them like off the shoulder crop tops, whatever. So that was a mini business I had for a few years. And then so I always had this bug in me. And in July of 2021, I knew I was going to leave the auction world. I'd been there for 10 years and just some other reasons. And I was golfing out in Colorado with my family. And we were there at in this beautiful town called Telluride. And I was in the pro shop before we were going to play. And I wanted something cool that said Telluride on it to take back with me to New York. And I was looking in the women's section, and of course, I found absolutely nothing that I liked, not even the hats. It was everything that was offered was the same ugly t-shirt cut, the same
Mhm.
ugly collar, the same ugly pattern that I've seen for 20 years that I've been playing. It's just nothing has ever changed. I mean, the skirts and the shorts were too long, or they're too short, and they don't fit right in the hips or the bust. And it's like no one's asking a woman like what her body looks like when they make these clothes. And so
Sure.
immediately I was like, okay, of course I'm not going to find anything true to form. And so I went to the kids section just to look to see if there was anything exciting. and I found this little girl's shirt, and it was tie-dye with mesh sleeves and a mock neck collar. And I held it up, and I wish I had the shirt to this day, but I held it up and I was like, if this was in my size, I would buy 10 of these. And I just had this moment that was like Legos, like everything in my life clicked. Like I knew I was going to leave my job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I wanted to start my own company. I didn't know what that looked like yet. I am a golfer. I am my own target market. I consider myself relatively fashionable. Why don't I bring all those things together and try my hand at creating women's golf apparel that I would actually buy and wear on the golf course. So 6 months later, I did a lot of, through the next 6 months, I was just did a lot of like soul searching. And December 2021, I quit my job and just literally dove in head first, not knowing anything about manufacturing or the back end of a business, and just have been figuring it out ever since.
That's wild. And Dom, you could probably add to this, but like we ask almost every guest, like because most of our guests are entrepreneurs in some way or fashion, and like what's like their one piece of advice they give, and a lot of them would say like just take that step to move
Yeah.
forward and do it, because so many people are, they might have a really good idea, but they're just scared to do that. They're scared of failure, right? And so I'd imagine that's got to be very, very scary and humbling to just kind of have a career and then just up and quit and start something completely new, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, the auction world career was a career I thought I'd have forever. Like I really loved what I was doing. And I had built genuine connections and built myself up in the industry over a period of 10 years. And for me to just drop that was not an easy decision on my end. And to go into something that I don't really know anything about and just start again in my 30s is not
Sure.
an easy decision. So yeah, there was a lot of heart and soul work that I had to do to get to that point. But yeah, I would agree. If there's if that bug is in you, it's never going to go away. And
Yeah,
there is a point where you just have to jump off the ledge and just say a prayer and
go
hope
for
for the best. Yeah.
it. Exactly. Dom,
Yeah.
so obviously we're recording on, me and Dom aren't at the same location this time. So Dom, feel free to add in anytime. I know I'm kind of taking over the conversation, but feel free to add in if you have any questions.
Yeah, I love tie-dye personally. I would had to like dig for this. I kind of do the same thing, just not to that extent. So this is one of our Shindig hoodies.
Oh,
The
cool.
issue is this is one of one. Well, I guess not an issue, but like I get so many
Okay.
comments on it. I ended up just like bleach dyeing it.
Okay, so you dyed it yourself.
Yeah, I did this. I
Cool.
did two of them, and then I've been tie-dyeing things. If I would have known that, I would have come more prepared. I have like tie-dyed shoes in my closet. I've done
Dom's one of a
shirts,
kind, one of
Hey.
one, right?
hoodies, but
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like I have a couple hoodies that I have
Wait,
just
those are
bleached dyed.
cool. I would buy that. I would
Tell
seriously buy.
Jordan. See, Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Jordan will let me
Jordan
do
will
it.
tune in. Yeah,
I
Jordan will
mean,
tune in. We'll make it happen.
okay, yeah. Do we do a collab?
I think
Maybe
so. I
it
think we
works.
should.
Maybe
Well,
it
I get all
works.
sorts of comments on it because it's, I mean, like obviously everyone's like, "What the hell's the shindig?" And I'm like, "Well, that's a whole nother story." But then I'm like, I bleached this just like out on my deck. Like it wasn't hard to do.
Yeah,
But a lot of people are so afraid that they're gonna screw it up, right? And that's kind of the beauty of tie-dye and
yeah,
being an entrepreneur is you can do it your own way and it's always gonna be fine, right?
you're always
You
going to
dove
screw
in head
up.
first, no matter which way you did it, you're not gonna screw up as long as you do it your way.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true.
I
But
love
yeah,
that
I would
hoodie.
buy that. I would definitely buy that for
Wanna
whatever
buy
it's
Well, there
it?
we go.
I'll sell it.
You'll sell it to me right now.
It's
Yeah,
worn.
we're
It's
we're
clean
making
though. It's washed.
we're making deals on the
Making
podcast
deals.
episode. That's awesome. Dom, what is that, like a navy blue? It's hard to kind of see. Like it's like a navy blue, like the
Yeah.
main color.
So it used to be navy blue and then the bleach
Yep,
turned it red. I did a
sure.
black one. That one I lost.
It looks super
Uh
nice though.
the
Yeah, I
black
like
one
it.
turns
I like
kind of
that.
like rusty, which is fun,
Hmm.
but I like the this one with the
I
navy.
think I gotta order a hoodie so you can do one, so you can make one for me. That'd be sweet.
You know?
Do it.
I know you're a big tie-dye guy. I mean, I'm not that I'm not a tie. I like it, but I wouldn't be the one to like go and deep dive and do that on my own. So,
I bought my
um,
own
and
personal
you're
bottle
obviously
of
good at it.
bleach
So,
so it doesn't just get used and I feel really
sure.
weird just having a bottle of bleach in my bathroom.
Well, We'll get it
As
used.
it
Yeah.
should.
So back to the pod. Where did the name come from?
So the letters of Aya are just the vowels of my first name. It came to me in my vision in Telluride. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. I've never had an experience like it, just that whole business
Full
idea and
circle.
name and everything. Yeah, it came to me in a vision in that moment. And I was like, that's great. So it's my way of saying Daniella's golf brand without blatantly saying Daniella's golf brand. And also, when I trademarked the name, I found out Aya is a city in Hawaii. So obviously, I have to do an event there soon.
That would be
You
awesome.
know, I was
It's
thinking because like if we take Derek's name, it's just E. Like just the vowels is just E. And with me, it's just
very,
OII.
yeah.
Damn, Derek, we
That is
better
pretty
not
cool
do that
though.
because it's not gonna make
Yeah,
sense.
we're boring. We have a boring name.
Oh, yeah, that
uh,
with the cool kids.
no, that's really cool. So you said you quit your career 2021.
Mhm.
And then so do you have like a full team? Are you running pretty much everything on your own? Can you talk about, you had mentioned you had no experience in manufacturing. Can you tell us a little bit about that and like your experience?
Yeah, so I am a one-woman show with this business. I've been
Wow.
outsourcing help as needed for certain things like social media and obviously like a lawyer, an accountant, things like that. But I've been learning everything from the ground up. The first thing I did when I quit my job was I enrolled in a 6-month how to build a fashion brand 101 course. That was the first thing I did. I did it online just to get like the lingo and to figure out what I'm
Mhm.
doing and which way to pivot and also to figure out timelines. In my head, January 2022, by November of that year, I wanted to have my first full line out. Mind you, it took me until January 2024 for that to happen. So it's just, timelines and manufacturing timelines and how to source fabrics and all that stuff it's a huge production, especially as a one-person show, especially as a new brand,
Sure.
especially with low quantities. So I actually enrolled the help of this team based in New York, and they help with the development process. So I'm the designer of all my clothes, but I don't draw. So I Frankenstein images together of this is the sleeve I like, this is the collar I like, this is where I want the logo, and I put it like in a Frankenstein image, and I send it off to this team, and they create what's called a tech pack, which is just, the technicalities of the garment, which then goes to the manufacturer, and they helped me source fabrics and things like that because fabrics were really important to me. A lot of fabrics for women's golf apparel, and I've noticed for men's golf apparel too, and maybe you guys can comment on this. It's absolute garbage. The actual fabrics are just this thin, plasticky, cheap, like no, it just holds in all the sweat
Mhm.
fabric. And I'm like, why are we putting this on our body for performance wear and when we're like sucked in and sweating everywhere and it's not breathing? So fabrics were very, very important. So I took a lot of time to source the fabrics that I wanted to make sure that it's quality and it also looks nice on the body.
It's so true
Yeah,
too, because I feel like
where
he
hold
throws.
on.
Oh, going down. Yep.
Hold on.
There you are. I can
This
see
is
you.
where it's kind of weird not being in the same
Yeah, I
room.
know.
I can't really comment on bad golf fabric, mainly because we've been working with so many like good people lately, where it's like, I have three Kingsman polos, and quality on those is like super nice. Like I messaged Don, I'm like, dude, I feel sexy. He goes, good, you better. Like just kind of looking
Good.
at my closet, I'm like, yeah, I got three of those. Palm sent us a nice carrot package, and the Palm stuff is really nice.
I guess I
But
should
I
have said
wanted,
the larger, the really big corporate
Yeah, like the
brand.
Nikes, Adidas. That's
Yeah,
kind of where. Yeah, for
exactly.
sure. I agree.
I know, I just wanted to shout out a couple good brands that use really good
Got it.
quality. I wanted to go back to you making like a Frankenstein sheet of everything. Um, I've been designing our podcast merch. I can't draw. You should see my note sheet that I just wrote all over on my tablet.
I
It got
bet.
to the point where I sent it off to the designer and he's like, bro, you gotta stop. And I did custom shoes for our first shindig in California. And I sent it off to Luke, who Leaderboard Customs, and he goes, you just wrote like a full essay on like a picture of the shoe. He goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know anymore." Um, so I thought that was kind of funny because I'm like, I do that same thing, and what we're doing for the podcast merch is nothing at all what I had written down or designed.
Yeah,
But it's funny how that stuff works sometimes.
right. And you have to be on it because these manufacturers will just produce the easiest thing. And I understand why, right? Like they're not going to
Mhm.
produce a really intricate garment with all these notes and whatever, unless you're paying them or you're really spending the time or you're producing like 10,000 units, which you and I are definitely are not.
Mhm.
So it's just
That's
one of those
purple.
things that you have to learn who you could trust and work with and get that trust built to be like, I am a legit brand. I am trying to do quality clothing. Just hear me out. Just, it's going to take some time, but, I'm here to stay kind of thing. So I understand that. Yeah.
Imagine the sampling super expensive too, right?
Oh, yeah. That's one of the most expensive parts. I mean, the development because all my stuff is custom, right? Like I'm not slapping a logo on a t-shirt. I'm
Mhm.
creating custom garments that are fitted to my body and, doing it that way. So, um, the sampling process, you're doing like 3 or 4 samples, and the timing in between those is quite long. So it's a
Sure.
big process, and sometimes you change fabrics or the zipper is not correct, so you're changing zippers. It's just things you never think of when you do this, and no one really tells you. You just have to make mistakes and kind of pivot. Yeah.
I feel like me and Dom would be in that situation where we're both kind of get like excited on certain things, where like get almost like impatient. So it's got to be like frustrating when you're kind of at the mercy of the manufacturer with time. Plus,
Yeah.
again, it's expensive. So you're getting like these garments, and you're like, you're kind of you're stuck. At least at their mercy, which it's understandably why it takes so long for you to actually, this is the final product and launch it at, 2024 versus starting it,
Right.
a couple of years ago. So
I
it's
Right.
really
talked about
interesting.
that. I talked about that on the Golf Arrows pod because
Yeah.
between Derek and I'm the impulsive one.
No.
Yeah, 100%. Do you remember when I asked you for your birthday and then you asked why? And
when
then I
was
booked
that?
our plane
Oh,
tickets.
yeah, yeah, you did actually. That was pretty
Oh, look
quick.
at you.
It's
I
pretty
was like,
quick
"Hey,
to the
what's your
punch.
birthday?" And he goes, "Why?" I'm like, "Just give me your birthday." And he gave it to
It
me. I'm
was
like, "Cool.
booked
Here's."
before.
Yeah, I was like, "It's like here's your itinerary. Have fun."
Wow.
Yeah,
That's kind of incredible.
it's quick to the punch.
Yeah, there you go. Waste no time.
Right. Okay, so we talked about manufacturer side. So how do you I was butchering this word. I typed it up. Differentiate. There we go. A tongue
Differentiate.
twister. Yeah, differentiate. Your brand in like the competitive golf apparel market. Obviously you'd mentioned that women's golf clothing isn't necessarily the same as men's as far as there's way bigger section, right? A selection. But
Mm.
like what differentiates you from other female apparel companies?
So I created my line in my style, which I am now figuring out what it's actually called. And I call it more of an elevated sportswear look. So it's a little bit athleisure style, but it's elevated. So the fabrics are thicker. Again, they're more fitted to the body. They're a little bit more sturdy than say like biker shorts.
Mhm.
So it has that New York street style look to it, which I wanted, and not like
Yep.
streetwear where it's baggy sweatpants, but street style, which again, more fitted to the body, clean lines. None of my stuff has a traditional collar. Everything has a mock neck collar, which I wanted. Again, not golfy looking. I wanted you to be able to wear these pieces and walk off a golf course and no one knew where you came from.
Sure.
That was very important to me because that's my style. I don't like looking golfy, even though I enjoy playing golf. And I also find that still to this day, I mean, there are some new women's golf apparel brands popping up, which is great. There are a few actually just in Austin here as well. But the golf apparel options that are out there still, even the new ones, there's a lot of it's hyper feminine, a lot of frills and pink and flamingos and things like that, which is fine. Again, just not my style. So I was looking for something a little bit more subdued, elevated basics kind of look, with pops of color, and just building off of that. So I noticed, I was at PGA show in January where I
Hmm.
like officially launched the brand, and that was my testing ground to see if people would even stop at my booth or look at what I was doing. And I had tremendous interest in the brand look, in my vision, which is great, because I really didn't know which way that was going to go. And a lot of people said, oh, I could wear this playing pickleball, I could wear this playing tennis, I could wear this playing golf, I could wear this walking down the street. And that's exactly the reaction I wanted. Exactly the reaction.
Good.
So, yeah.
How was the PGA show? I mean, obviously, you just talked about how it was great, but I know we had talked before, and it's kind of a really cool experience, especially for up and coming companies that are just launching products.
Yeah, it was wild. The whole experience was wild. Like I booked that booth 6 months in advance. So last July, and the actual building of a trade show booth is an experience I will never forget. It was super intense, and there's a million moving parts, and you have to think about things about like how many volts you need, which I mean, I've never had to deal with that before. I did tape out the floor of my apartment to see how big my booth is and what exactly I had to rent, and everything's super pricey because you have to rent all the furniture and pay for electricity and this and that. Um, but yeah, again, it was a total test to see how people would react, actual golf industry people would
Hmm.
react to my brand, because I've been doing my own marketing up to this point. I still am. It's very organic at this point, and I'm just, at golf tournaments here in town, here in Austin, like waving my flag, being like, look at my stuff, here I am, this is what I'm trying to do. So that was my first foray into the official golf industry, and just seeing how people would react. It was way bigger than I could have imagined. Like, I don't think people really describe the scale to me that well. It's so big. There's so much going
Hmm.
on. And the people there are really intentional, which was nice, about what they're looking for. And I got really good feedback too. And it was just a great group of people. So I really enjoyed it. Have you guys ever gone to the PGA show? Oh,
No,
you have
we've
to. You
talked about it.
love
Yeah.
it. Oh, you
Doesn't
guys
like to
have to
travel with
go.
me.
No, honestly, we've had like so many things. Like it's been one of those like things where we've talked about doing like not at, like a booth. I know they're very expensive for a booth, but just as a like a day pass or a 2 day pass where you can
Yeah.
just kind of walk around and talk to people. That's kind of how I would envision doing it. But yeah, every year I've always thought about it, and I think it'd be so good for me and Dom to go. But schedule wise, it just hasn't really because it's in January, I think,
Yeah.
every year, I believe, right? Yeah,
Yes.
so there's some work things that come up kind of that time of year for me. So I mean, either one of yeah, it'd be awesome for us to experience it. I know from what previous from other people have said that their previous experiences were it was nothing but good feedback. I know it was very expensive, and when you mentioned like the furniture thing, I didn't even think about that because
Yeah.
I've heard that like it's expensive to rent a space, but
Yeah.
that so you rent like furniture and all that from them as well.
I
Yeah.
didn't think they'd make you pay like utilities.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
They
That's
Yeah.
give
wild.
you basically the air that you're breathing. I mean, it's down to the penny, everything. It was
Jeez.
crazy. I was getting the bill. I tried to manage as much as I could and like do all the discounts by ordering the furniture early and all that stuff. And you're still like, wow,
Just racks up.
yeah, they charge you to bring the plug to your booth, and they charge
Oh
you
my
for
goodness.
basically the air that you're breathing. And those are the things you just don't take into account if you've never done it before. So learning experience for me, but if you guys get to go even just as visitors,
Hmm.
definitely you would gain a lot from it for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What challenges have you faced like as a female entrepreneur in the golf industry and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, there have been quite a few. Um, I would say one that I recognized more in my face kind of from PGA show is, while I did get tremendously positive feedback and people were genuinely interested in buying my things, um, it was a reality check of this is still an uphill battle in terms of it's a traditional industry still, right? So even the look of my pieces, which is more fitted to the body. You know, it was some people were reacting not negatively to it, but they were just like, oh, that will never work, or these ABC club won't take that. And you know what? They're right. They're right. You know, a lot of these traditional clubs maybe want a longer short, or they want a certain style to, you know, continue to buy. And I found that that's still very much a big part of the industry, of course, as you guys know.
Sure.
But slowly changing, chipping away at that. Yeah.
Sure.
Do
Don, do
you
you have
kind
anything
of
to?
find yourself, you know, you just talked about how certain courses won't take it, blah, blah, blah. Do you find yourself kind of gravitating towards like the younger courses, you know, younger, I guess?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the big change in golf, right, especially with the apparel side, is generally like the younger side of it, where I don't want to say the old people are kind of holding us back, but like they
It's
have a
just dang old
very,
people.
I know, boomers. I mean, you're old. Everybody's
I'm
older
getting
than me,
there. Yeah.
which is the hard part. Um, where was I going? Oh, um, do you find yourself kind of gravitating towards the younger courses? You know, maybe it's a younger manager, a younger superintendent, stuff like that.
Yeah. So with the style of my clothes, because I grew up playing at traditional golf courses in Florida, I am familiar with what's appropriate in their handbook or whatever, like what they still require. So it was intentional with the creation of my pieces that I wanted my garments to be able to be worn at a traditional golf club and also at a sim indoor center. Like I wanted it to be appropriate for both. I didn't want to just do one or the other. So there was intention behind that, but yes, I do find myself gravitating toward this next generation golf scene, of course. Like that's what I'm trying to represent. That is who I am as a golfer. For example, there's this golf club that's being built here in Austin. It's a 12-hole par 3 course, and they are building a clubhouse. I call it like a golf club concept. So there is a golf course and it is a golf club, but they're trying to make it like cool and more casual. There's going to be a bar, a restaurant. It's just more chill, you know, like ice baths and a spa and the whole
Oh
thing.
wow.
So like I became a member of that course because that's what resonates with me as a golfer. I actually don't want to play 18 holes. I don't. You know, I will and I do still, but I'd rather play 9 holes and then hang out at the bar.
Sure.
You know, so I do resonate more with those types of golf courses, which are now popping up more, and just yeah, more of a younger next generation golf scene that is
I think
becoming.
sorry to interrupt. I was say I think me and Don have talked about that where the pace of play is one of the biggest issues in golf, right? Besides obviously the price can be pretty expensive as well. But like the 12 holes, I think that is um if I'm not mistaken, like that's what it originally started with. I think was 12 holes back in Scotland. There was a course out there. So but it makes I could be wrong, don't quote me, but I guess what I'm getting at
We're
is
gonna quote
18
you.
holes is yeah, Google it. Pull it up on the Google. But I guess what I'm saying is 18 holes of golf can be fun, but for me, it's like, is it going to be a 3 to 3.5 hour round of golf, or is it going to be a 5 to 6 hour? Because if it's going to be that, then yeah, 12 holes all day long. And I think because 9 holes is like you're just kind of getting the groove, and you get a couple more holes, then you start to So I like the whole 12-hole concept, and I think, like I said, I think we mentioned that they're starting to pop up, not necessarily Minnesota, but kind of throughout the country. So that's a really cool concept. Is it so it's a country, it's a kind of like a country club. You have to be a member to this place?
Yes, there's a membership
Okay.
to get in, and it's still being built. But yeah,
Okay.
I actually at PGA show there were a number of these smaller golf course concepts that were being talked about, which is great. I know
Mhm.
in Florida as well. I saw a few people that were creating this like shorter course format, and I'm like, that's exactly what we need.
Yep.
We need that.
That is really cool. I like that. Let's talk about like the technology and fashion, right? You have launched a QR code type of. Can you talk about that concept? I think it's really cool,
Yeah.
but for our listeners and viewers.
Yeah. So when I describe it, I always kind of say that I'm building kind of two businesses simultaneously. One is the physical garment side, which is very important, and I'm starting to get the hang of that. And the second is the digital side of my business, which is also for community building. So it's really important to me that community is part of what I'm doing. Like I never got into creating AIEA Golf just to create golf clothes. There was always a bigger purpose to that, and to empower, like you said, this modern era of women golfers through style and community. And so I think there is still, again, it's becoming more and more relevant. There are ladies golf groups popping up across the country, which are wonderful. But I wanted to create a place where golfers of all skill levels, no matter who you are, can get together and have this easy access point into golf culture. So even if you have no interest in playing golf, I know a million people that buy my stuff that have no interest in playing golf. And they're like,
Mhm.
I like to drive the cart with my brother, with my boyfriend, with my husband, with my friend. And I don't have an interest in playing golf. Maybe I'll putt at a putt-putt course, but I still have nothing to wear. I don't know where to go. I want to learn the terms, and I want to be around people that have an interest in golf. And I'm like, I got you. Like, here's a close for you. Here's let me handhold you into this process. It's not that intimidating, I promise. So in the back end right now, I'm building more of a community aspect to the business. I launched a community platform called Season Pass back in November, which I've now put back in beta mode for a number of reasons, but it's being built, and I am going to be putting chips in my clothing, hopefully starting at the end of this year, which will give you an access point where you scan and you're immediately part of this AIEA Golf ecosystem. So again, like very easy entry. It doesn't matter if you play golf, it's more about golf culture and getting people together in the name of the sport.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Um, the collection one, it just launched in January, you said, right? It's this year, January?
Yes.
During the
Yes.
PGA Show. So can you tell us a little bit about the collection, and what you released or launched?
Yeah, so it's a five-piece collection. It's my first full capsule collection. It's two pairs of shorts, a sleeveless top, a sweater, and then a dress, which is coming out this month, which is really exciting. And everything kind of goes together. That was the purpose of it as well. And it's just more of like basics for your everyday golf, golf round or not, or your indoor golf place. So yeah,
Sure.
I've gotten really good responses to the shorts and the top, and the sweater is also flying off the shelves, which is great.
What has been the best seller, and what's your favorite piece?
You know what? The best sellers right now for me, believe it or not, are my socks
Okay.
and my nail polish. I created nail polish in my custom AIEA yellow green, and yeah, I have a few here because I was wrapping them before. This baby is just flying. People are just getting this left and right, and I'm like, okay, all right,
It's
this is
fun.
what people want.
It's funny you mentioned it. My wife literally said, "Hey, ask her if she's releasing any other nail polish colors."
Oh my
I,
gosh, I love it. Yes, I'll
yeah,
send her some. I'll send her
yeah,
some.
yeah, yeah. She saw that on the website. She's like, "Those are so cool." I'm
Oh,
like, "Yeah," because
good.
yeah. So, well, good. I'll let her know. So do you plan on releasing a collection too? I know obviously it took a couple of years just to launch the first collection, so I'm sure that's still obviously you're still in the fashion industry. I feel like you're already kind of like two steps ahead. You kind of have to be like two steps ahead, even though you know what
Yeah.
I mean, in real time. Like you're probably already focused on the next launch, even though you just launched
Yeah.
the first collection. So where are you at on the second release, or what do you plan on releasing?
Yeah, so I have designs, they're ready to go. Right now, my because of the development of my first line took so long and was expensive because
Hmm.
I was learning. I now kind of know what I'm doing a little bit more, and I know exactly what I want. So I know the fabrics that I want, and I know the timeline that I want, and I know the quantities that I want. It is very difficult to buy performance fabrics in low quantities, and to have a manufacturer create like 50 to 100 pieces of a single garment. It's very, very difficult. So
Sure.
I'm in the process of shifting manufacturers to see if I could do that in a different place, to avoid some development costs, to be completely honest. And that's just taking
Mhm.
longer. I'm hoping to get my second line out by November of this year. It's going to be 3 pieces, maybe 4, but at this point, I'm just seeing where life takes me.
Sure. Well, it's
Yeah.
a lot. Like you said, talk about being a one person, doing everything. It's
Yeah.
from start to finish. I can understand it be incredibly difficult. That's for sure. So I did mention it earlier. We typically ask some, our guests a question of what piece of advice would you give to an entrepreneur, whether it's in the golf space or just in general. What piece of advice would you give to someone?
I would say, so one thing that I've learned over these 2 years, which feels like it's been 10 years, in a good way, but I have gotten an incredible amount of unsolicited advice. And I want advice. I want mentorship. I am very aware of what I don't know and what I do know, and I want to succeed and I want my business to succeed. However, I have found that many, many people will project onto you. They'll project their businesses that never happened, or their frustrations about never going out on their own, or you should have done this, or you should do this. And um, I used to take all of that in and
Mhm.
almost like pivot my business because everyone else knows better. When in reality, everyone is just figuring it out. Even entrepreneurs are just figuring it out. So I would say take advice with a grain of salt and trust your gut. If it doesn't feel like it's aligned for you, and I'm not saying don't listen to anyone, but just
Sure.
if it doesn't feel aligned with what you're trying to do or who you are, listen to that. Just listen to that and, take it for what it is, and, move with the pieces that resonate with you.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like that answer. Dom, do you have any follow-up questions? I have a couple more questions, and then we'll do some rapid fire questions. But is there anything else that you want to ask, Dom?
Yeah, I was kind of sitting around today and I was like, man, would you let us design like a men's side of it if you ever do men's? Because I have ideas. And
Yeah.
like, are they good ideas? No. Derek's already laughing. But like their
No, no.
ideas. And like I get inspiration from all sorts of things, right? So like sit next to me. Obviously it's snowing out, so like I got my Hoka boots.
Yeah.
This
Cool.
color and like the different shades, killer men's line, right? Maybe not as aggressive. But
Yeah.
like, come on, like I know it's very Kanye-ish, and the issue is I'm not a
No,
big Kanye guy,
I
but
love that.
like this would be sick. Like men's palette, stuff like that. So like all sorts of cool design elements everywhere. But then on the flip side, I have these.
There
What
it is.
tie-dye shoes
The
does
tie
Hyde have?
dye. It had to
Oh,
come
these
in there.
are Nike ACG slippers. My
Oh, okay. I was gonna
slippers.
say, yeah. It like shifted away right away, so I could only see it for a quick sec.
Yeah,
But
I know
that's
my camera
awesome.
doesn't want to focus on anything. But yeah, they're my Nike ACG slippers. So like I'm telling you, like a men's line with like your
Yeah.
little pops of AIEA yellow green.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Sweet.
I'll tell you what, I have had a tremendous response from men, more than I was ever expecting, to be honest. And people are like, when are you going to make this shirt in men's, or this kind of
Hmm.
style collar in men's with a men's shirt? And I'm like, okay, interesting. So it's definitely in the back of my head. Those shoes, the first shoes that you showed, I would love to do a high top because I always wear high tops when I golf. So like, let's talk, Dom. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
love the AIEA sweater and like the I like the quilted and everything. I have a couple hoodies that are golf hoodies that have that same pattern,
Yeah.
and I have yet to find a crew neck for men like that. I
mhm.
think that's super cool, and I'm mad that it's only for women. And like, you're like, flamingos and pink. I'm like, that's literally like my color palette is pink and purple and flamingos.
Wasn't trying to offend you. I
No,
like
I know.
Dom
blue.
was pissed off. No, I'm just kidding.
I
I hang up immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Where Dom go? No, but like you said, it's uh, like you're doing kind of what you want, or like what you like and what you want to see in the
Right, right.
space of golf, which makes sense. And that was a good question, Dom, because I was actually one of the questions I was going to ask is like, what are some of your future goals for your company? And obviously, if things start to evolve, did you have any inkling of trying to start, add on to a men's line? I know doing everything by yourself is already a lot to
Yeah.
take on, but
Yeah. I mean, I have 1,000,005 design ideas. I have my next 4 collections ready to go in my head. It's just, getting that process down, especially like you said, as a one-person team, is is difficult with low quantities, but I'm getting there. It's a baby step process for sure. Yeah, I would like to go into men's, definitely. I've again like have gotten so much great feedback. It's funny that you mentioned the sweater, Dom, because in a PGA show, men were saying, "Do you have this in a vest?" Multiple people came up and
Mm.
asked if they had that quilted fabric in a vest for men, and I was like, "Interesting." So,
I'm a
TBD.
big fan of like the puffy vest. I don't think I'd like a vest
Oh,
like that personally.
yeah. Okay. I love a puffy vest.
I
Get,
yeah,
get
my
flexing.
staff got me. I again, college girls, they always wore these like they wear like the tight shirts and then like the big puffy vests. I'm
Yeah,
like, I
cool.
Mhm.
would never wear a vest. And they're like, Dom, you would wear a vest. I'm like, I'm not a vest guy.
And then you
And
got a
then
vest.
JD, I'm getting there. And then JD from Seven Iron sends me a vest, and now I'm like, I get it.
We're vest guy now.
I'm a
I
vest
like
guy. I only well,
I
I have
like
Vest
two,
guy.
but now I'm a vest guy.
I like the marshmallow vest. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I do.
embrace it.
Yeah,
Embrace.
Mr. Zoolander.
Yeah, exactly. My $20 H&M puffy Zoolander jacket that I'm rocking.
Love it.
That's an inside joke. He ran out one day and he said, I don't remember if it was like the group chat with Jordan and I in it. He had on these super short shorts and this big puffy white puffy jacket. And Jordan goes, go get Zoolander and get him on the phone.
Yeah, I was thinking I was running out to Starbucks like 38 degrees, but me and my running
Oh my
shorts and my
God.
yeah,
Oh.
but um so first off, we really appreciate you taking the time. Just a few more minutes. We'll do some rapid fire questions. But we did want to ask, so we were trying to get out to the Austin event that you hosted. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And do you plan
Oh
on
yeah.
hosting more events down the road?
Yeah, first of all, sad that you guys weren't there.
Yeah,
I'll remember that
I
forever,
know.
but whatever. But yeah, so I had my official launch event in Austin, March 1st. It was a scramble at a par three course, a local par three course, 9-hole par three course, which is right downtown. So it's super walkable for everyone, which is great and which is what I wanted. And I had about 80 people show up, and it was a blast. It was a total
It's awesome.
blast. I mean, it was a lot to put together again by myself, but looking back on it, I'm like, that was really successful and it was really great. And it was the first time a women's golf brand did a co-ed event in Austin. So it almost turned into like a singles event, which
Well, that's
is
kind of
great.
cool.
I know, I know. So yeah, I
She
will definitely be doing more.
she told me that and I was like, damn, I could have left like boot up or something.
Exactly. That's why you should have come. Next
I
one, you have to.
tried.
I know, I
I'm
know.
like, I'm like, Dom, where are you? Are you gonna be at my place for the next episode? He's like, dude, I'm in Austin, man. I'm sorry. Okay. You're gonna have to do this via
Swing
Zoom.
it easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Danielle, is there anything that you want to maybe mention before we said we just have a few rapid fire questions? Is there anything that may want to add to anything that we didn't cover?
Not really. I just appreciate being
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, we're having a good time. Our first rapid fire question, Dom, you can kind of come up with whatever question you'd like to next, whatever. I know you
I thought
probably
you were
know them
gonna
by
ask
now.
me to read it, like just out of
Oh,
habit.
you probably could. I was gonna ask the first one. I know you have a couple
Scared.
of them probably in your back pocket.
I don't know the first one.
I'll get the first one. So it's been kind of a newer one, but what is your favorite Instagram account? It could be
Oh,
golf or non-golf related.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. That's a really good question. Oh, okay. My favorite golf one is Paris Helinsky. I love her vibe and I want her to wear
Mm-hmm.
AIA gear. So Paris, if you're watching this, come check out some AIA stuff.
There you
Um,
go.
I'm on the pod too.
on the pod, yeah, on the
Yeah,
pod.
yeah.
Yeah.
Join the pod.
On the pod.
Yeah.
My other Instagram account, I'm really into travel plans at the moment. So there's this one account called Simply Slow Traveler, and it's just about like these crazy unknown places in Italy that you can go to, and there are like 5 people that live there, that kind of thing.
Oh
So
wow. What
yeah,
was it called?
Simply Slow Traveler.
Okay. To
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah.
Awesome. Dom, you remember the next one?
The
No,
He's looking up Austin right now. He's trying to figure out the
I'm looking up
flights to
little places in
what.
Italy.
um do the song.
Like you like, do you want me to sing?
No, no,
No,
yeah.
I
I
know,
want you to
I
sing
know,
in your
I know, I
T-Pain
know, I know, I
voice.
know. What would your walk-up song be?
My walk-up song?
Yeah, like you're on
Oh,
hole one. You gotta set the mood.
Hmm.
What's gonna be the Daniela walk-up song to get
What's
the
the
vibe
vibe?
going?
oh my God, that's a really difficult question, but I'm going to answer it in a different way because I can't think of one. I have really been into getting back into 90s/2000s alternative music lately. Like
Okay.
I'm talking like Three Doors Down and
Mm.
Audio Slave. Like
Mm.
I think that says more about like my current emotional state than anything. But I don't think any of those would be good walk-up songs. But that's a great question. Do you guys have a walk-up song?
You know, you can't ask that because Derek never has one.
I have in this time.
See? It's a
Do
hard
you?
I don't know the name of it, but I don't know why. It was just I heard it the other day, and it's the song on um Step Brothers. You know, the
Boats and
Catalina
Hose?
wine mixer song. No,
Oh my
Oh,
you know
God.
what I'm talking about, right, Dum Dum? I can't remember the name. I want to say it's Bocelli, but I don't think it's Bocelli. It's that I
God,
Oh,
think
dude,
it's an
if you
Italian
walked
song.
up to Boats and Hose,
No, it wasn't that song, but I can't remember the name of it. I wish I had the name of it, but I don't know why I saw a clip the other day and it made me laugh a little bit. But Dom Dom's always got some sort of good tune
oh,
in his
what's
back pocket.
yours?
yeah, it's funny because like you're talking about your like emotional state. I don't think I have an emotional state. I'm just kind of here a lot of the time. Yeah, like that's me. We had this whole talk with Evan from the Par Train about like people's mental games, and we discovered that I don't have one. I don't have an emotional state either. I'm
He's
just
a rare breed.
I'm
Neutral.
just
Oh,
there. Um, it's been tough because like I would like to do um like Been Away by Brent Faiyaz,
mm,
or I would do Set by Brent Faiyaz.
that's a good, Brent's a good one. That's a great one.
Yeah,
I
I
have to look.
figured I
Um,
should probably say somebody that some people might know
what what is your favorite golf logo? Could be a golf course, could be an apparel brand.
other than yours.
Yeah, other than yours, of course.
Um, I actually like, I can probably give you two. I
Here we
like
go.
RLX or the
Oh
Ralph
yeah.
Lauren sports
Yep.
line, which is kind of what my logo was inspired from. And I like Jay Lindbergh's actual symbol. I like what they do
Mm,
with it. I like how they like move it around and make it like a pattern, which is cool. So
sure. That's all I have
Hold on.
for rapid
Do you
fire.
have one,
You
Derek?
guys,
I don't think you've ever talked about
favorite
your favorite
logo?
golf logo.
Um, I could say I do like Malbon. I like the little. I mean, he's got so many different logos, but I like the golf ball itself. I think that's really cool what he's kind of done. So I'd say Malbon is definitely up there. Um, and there's one other one. That how do you pronounce it? Devru, Devray.
Devereaux.
That Devro. Yeah, they
yeah.
have some cool. Yeah, they have some really cool logos as well. I mean, they kind of have like not just one logo. They have a couple different styles. So I would pick those two. How about you, Dom?
I have I have so many, and like the hard part is like my closet is like right here, right? It's shoes and then clothes and then more shoes. Anyways, I've always have a hard time looking. Like, man, I really like that. Give me Buena Gente's logo. I love
Oh
the
yeah,
interlocking fingers, and it's John. Like, dude, John's the man. Did you see him looking
he's
all
a stud.
dapper on his story the other day?
Yeah, he was looking dapper.
What a
He's with
guy.
this cool ring too. I know. Buena Gente Golf is legit.
What a
I
guy.
would say, I would say, if you want to like throw the Jordan Golf logo, I mean that is technically a logo. That is kind of an iconic, but it's more
It's a cop
basketball in
out.
my eyes. Yeah, it's kind of more basketball, but still Jordan logo would be
Cop
sweet.
out, yeah.
We always end our podcast with a food related question. So Dom Dom, you can ask it however you'd like to. Take it away,
I
my
feel
friend.
kind of bad because this like could have happened in real life. If we're going out to Austin, where are we gonna go eat?
Oh, in Austin?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I feel
where
bad because like we could have, but we didn't. I
we
couldn't.
didn't. We
Yeah.
didn't. Um, So I found this Mexican place that's in about 20 minutes outside of Austin. Of course, I can't remember the name at the moment. This is what happens when you put me on the spot.
The rapid fire
It has
questions
a
in a nutshell.
beautiful view of hill country and it's like a dive. It's a total dive, but it's so good. When you come to Austin, when, not if, I will take you there.
Dive places are the best type of
They
places.
are. They always are.
Mhm.
In New
Yeah.
York, those were always the 5-star. When they looked like absolute dives, that's where you want to
That's
go.
so I mean, do they have, is there a specialty that you'd go with, like certain tacos or a little bit of everything?
They have like
Um,
big ass margaritas because I'm down.
they do. They do. They do. That's the only thing we're gonna go there for. So
Yeah.
Yes,
A
get the
liquid dinner?
food. Yeah, we'll just get like
I
chips
love
and call
margaritas.
it a day.
There you
Yeah.
go. Awesome. Well, Danielle, thanks so much for taking the time and joining us on the podcast.
Thank you guys.
Hopefully you continue to launch the upcoming launches, and if that makes sense. But anything that we can do to help you out, we're obviously we talk about fashion in golf all the time, and both about men and women. So we're all about trying to grow the game, and however we can do that, just let us know.
Yeah, I appreciate you both. Thanks for having me on this. And you guys
If
are
you
awesome.
ask Derek nicely, he'll paint his fingernails yellow.
Yeah, you guys have no choice. You're actually going to do that. I'm going to send you both the nail
Yeah,
polish. You're
I'll
going to
give
be
it
that
to
would,
the
you're going
staff.
to be
I'll give it
Aya
to the
golf girls before you know it.
I'll give it to
can
the
have my wife.
staff and they'll wear it.
Yes.
If
Okay, good.
if I did that, they would be all over my fingers. So yeah, my wife can certainly help me
Well,
out with that.
you live with two women. They could just do it for
That's
you.
Yeah, exactly. Might even do my toes.
There you go. Yes. Represent.
So, all right. Thanks so much. You have a good
Thank
night. We'll
you.
talk to you soon. Yep.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you.
Thanks.